Alrighty, hello, welcome. My name's Rob Nixon, coming to you from Brisbane, Australia. Good to be here. We've got a very intimate group today. This is the Time and Money webinar by QuickFee. They invited me along to come and have a chat to you. I want you to do a couple of things right away. So first of all, down the bottom in the toolbar, it says chat. If you can open the chat, because we're going to have, there's only going to be a handful of us today, like 10 or a dozen or so. So we're going to have a good conversation. So open up the chat and just tap in there, hi from wherever you're from. So we can get to know you a bit. I can't hear you. I can't see you, but I can interact with you in the chat. So being such a small, hey David from Florida, being such a small group, thank you. This is going to be as intimate and as you want, right? So Chris from Dallas, I think we've only got like 10 people, so it's going to be very, very good. We're going to have about a dozen or so. So cool, California. Hey, Joseph, good to see you here. Claire from LA. I'm in LA in a couple of weeks. Doing a session in on Wilshire Boulevard, I think. All right, so team, this is how this is going to work. This is my webinar to present to you, but QuickFee has your QuickFee clients essentially. QuickFee has set this up. So we're gonna have some fun. Normally these events are much bigger, so don't get as much time to talk. So this way a bit smaller would be pretty cool. So bit of quick background. Most of you don't know me. This is my 30th year, would you believe? Come May, since 1994, 30 years working exclusively on the accounting profession. Worked in 18 countries, trained about 200,000 accountants, coached over 600 accounting firms, helped over those 600 firms add over $1 billion in profit to their firms, about 2 million each or so thereabouts. And my life is the accounting profession, but I'm not an accountant, right? Not an accountant. I have been in this market for a long, long time, a bunch of businesses. And these days I choose to work exclusively in the USA and Canada. So that's where you're from. So we're going to have a chat about all things business, specifically about creating more time and making more money. And being the 3rd of January, Happy New Year, right? 3rd of January for you. It's going to be a great time to put some changes in place ready for your next tax season. So a couple of things as we get into this, as we get started. We have an unhidden agenda here. I'm going to give you a bunch of free stuff today, but ultimately, we want to help 8 firms right now to succeed, like on a personal basis, one-on-one in a coaching capacity. I can talk more about that later on. So if you, not what short size you are, if you're more than $1 million in revenue now, if you are 1 to 5 aligned partners, if you are ambitious, if you're coachable, then let's meet and see if we can help you. Let's meet and see if we can help you, take you to new levels you never thought possible. I'll put the meeting details in the chat. No obligation. It'll be a session. Boom, right there. So we can pick that up later on as well. All right, let me just get rid of a few things here. Boom, get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that. So team, let's get into this. Let's get into time and money. Lots of time, lots of money. 30 years, right? 30 years working with the accounting profession. I've seen all sorts of models. I've seen all sorts of, interesting ways to do just about everything. Visited, I don't know how many thousands of accounting firm offices, but it all comes down to me. You want to change, right? You want more money, you want more time. Question I have is why? Why do you want more of that? The business change, if you want to make some change in your business, in your accounting, by the way, this webinar will last up to an hour and a half, depending on how many questions you've got. You're going to ask as many questions you want. It is being recorded. You will get a copy of the recording as well. So in changing what you've got today, if the objective is more money, more time, better business, whatever it is, my question to you is why? Why are you doing this? Why are you putting yourself through this business? Whatever size it is, whatever challenges you've got. Why? What is it you're wanting to achieve here? Yeah, we can go for more money, more time, but why? Why do you want that, right? I think before we get into tactics and strategies, and we are going to go deep, by the way, on the key driver of profitability and the key driver of you having more time, right? I'm going to be covering 4 things today, 4 major things, and I'm going to prove it with 5 case studies of firms who've already worked. I've invited 5 firms in. They've recorded short videos for you to talk to you as well about what they've been doing. So I'm going to wax lyrical, as they say, about lots of concepts and ideas, and then we're going to have 5 firms tell you what they did as well to prove it to you. But why? I think it starts with all your reasons why you're doing this. I believe that this business should be fuel for your life, not your life. This business that you've got can provide all the time and all the money you can dream possible. I've seen it happen time and time again. So I want to go back to basics. I want to go back to the motivation. I want to go back to the core reasons why you're in business. And before we start redesigning the business, I want to talk about your bucket list. I want to talk about what it is you want to achieve in your life, right? It all starts here. Because if you've got a big, long list of things that you want to achieve in your life, then business becomes easier. Business becomes more meaning. I'm doing this to achieve this, right? What is that list? What does it look like? Is it all about travel? Is it about things? Is it about experiences? Is it about health, family, skills, sport, adventure, some sort of challenge you want to do? Is it about charity? Is it about friends? Is it about kindness? Or is it about your time? Whatever it is, whatever you want to achieve, this accounting business can provide if it's structured correctly, if it's leveraged correctly, if it's priced appropriately, if it's more efficient, and on it goes. You've got a great machine in front of you. You've got a business machine in front of you. There are 3 things you need. 3 things you need to achieve everything you want on your bucket list. Number 1 is going to be time. Number 2 is going to be money. And number 3 is desire. Time, money, and desire. It starts there. The first thing I would hope that you've done or will do, start of the new year, right? What an opportunity to write a list of things you want to achieve in your life. Then we design the business around you achieving that. You achieving that. It's about business by design, folks. Your business by design. You design it your way. Team, I'm just going to kill that PowerPoint for a reason. Bear with me. And get back into it because it is just playing up a little bit there. All right, let's go back here. Here we go. That's better. All right. Sorry about that, folks. And so redesigning your business to suit your bucket list. That's what I believe this is about. Bucket list first. Now we design the business to suit you achieving that. In redesigning your business, there are 5 questions to ask. 5 questions. And these 5 questions look like this. And I do this with every single firm all the time. First of all, what does your business life, what do you want it to look like? What do you want your business life to look like? You can have that whatever you want. You can have your business life looking like, I only want to work 2 days a week. I don't want to be operational in the business. I want a business that runs without me. You can design it whatever you want, right? I want you to think of your business right now, 3rd of January, like a blank sheet of paper. And you had an opportunity on the blank sheet of paper to redesign it any way you want it. Number 2, your numbers. What do you want your numbers to be? What core numbers? Anything goes, team. Numbers like revenue, numbers like profitability, numbers like accounts receivable should be 0. Numbers like average hourly rate, numbers like number of people, revenue per full-time equivalent person, what we call sustainability index, what we call profit time index. What do you want your numbers to be? Give it 3 or 4 years. They can be anything. I've seen it time and time again. What do you want your numbers to be? Your services. What do you want to sell and deliver? Not what the government tells you. By the way, back to numbers, right? The QuickFee folks will help you get to 0 accounts receivable. I love that plan, right? Your services. What do you want your services to be? I know of a bookkeeping business that does $3.5 million in revenue, does a $1.2 million profit, and the sole owner doesn't work a day in it. Why would you sell that business? There's money in bookkeeping. There's money in advisory. There's money in tax. There's money in accounting. There's money in compliance. It's what you want, your culture. What do you want your culture to be? Where do you want the people to be? Do you want no office? Do you want a virtual environment? I'm coming to you today from my office, which is my clubhouse. I built a golf course in my front yard, been rated, by the way, by Golf Digest magazine as the world's best backyard golf course. Thank you very much. And inside we have a clubhouse. This is my environment. I have a virtual team. We have many, many accounting firms that don't have an office, have a virtual team. What do you want for your culture? And lastly, your clients. What type of client do you want to serve? What is your definition of an A-class client? Be careful, folks. That next client you sign up is going to stay with you for the next 10, 15, 20 years. You better make sure they're an A-class client before you sign them up. An A-class prospect. Who needs to go? Why do we put up with so many clients that we don't like or want? Team, business by design goes that way. We redesign it. We want a better business life. We document what that looks like. We want different numbers. We document what that looks like. We want different services or pick them what it looks like, culture, etc. Business by default goes the other way. You start out an accounting business, right? And you get some clients, more clients by referral, and you, because you're desperate, you take on whoever, right? Anyone. Then you need some more people, so you grab whoever you can, people you know, whatever, right? Services, government changes the rules. God, we better deliver that. Right, we jump on ERTC credits. We do this with COVID. We just react all the time. Numbers suck, and life isn't great. Team, is this resonating with you? Jump in the chat and tell me what is going on here in your head. Is this resonating? Is this making sense so far? Just want to make sure I can hear you. So give me a sign, a signal, a yes, a why, a something, a no, this is rubbish, anything in the chat, just so I can see if you're there. Talking to a one-way screen right now. Put a Y in the chat if this may. Ah, you are there, Joseph. Great. All right, cool. I'll have a cup of tea. Team, you can change whatever you want to change. Thank you, Ron. You can do whatever you want to do in this business. I've seen it so many times. I want to take you on a journey. And that journey is, and this is a great time of year to do this, is you thinking about your progress as an accounting business. Typically, it starts out as an accounting practice, a practice owner, a practitioner practicing their craft. You were taught how to be a practitioner. You go into an accounting practice. You're now the partner and owner of an accounting practice. And what happens here is, because most of the work goes on your shoulders, you're grinding it out and working way too much in it. You're grinding it out and working way too much in the business. And what happens is you have okay money, but not a lot of time. We typically meet firms who are there before we start coaching them. And the first thing we want to do with you is to switch this mindset that you're not a practice owner, you're a business owner. You own an accounting business. And then practically, what does that mean? Well, practically, you're the leader of an accounting business, happens to sell accounting services, and we want you as the owner to spend more time working on the business than in the business immediately, getting you off the tools, so to speak, spending more time growing and developing the business, making it a better business for you, making it a better business for everyone around you. And what happens here when we flip the switch, we have more money and more time. I'm sorry, you have more money and more time. But there's a third level. And the third level is what we call investor level. And investor level is where you, if you choose to, become an owner, but not an operator. You're about to meet one, an owner, but not an operator. You own an accounting business, but you don't do what the accounting business does. Like I mentioned that story with a quick story about the bookkeeping business. He doesn't do what the business does. He might sit on the board of directors or the management team and meet once a month, and you can get there. You can get there. If you've got a business like that, and it might seem a long, long way away, and in 2 months' time, when you're in the thick of tax season again, right, you might think, how do I get out of this? How do I get out of the weeds? It is totally doable, totally possible, but it takes time and structure. And if you had a business like that, why would you sell it? You wouldn't sell it. You'd have generational wealth. It produces $1 million, $2 million a year, boom, 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 and you are not working in it. Not working in it at all. You go through loops. You might stop a business owner, right? We have a mix of the firms that we coach. We coach a maximum of 64 firms any one time. We've got capacity for 8 right now. Some want to go to business owner level and stay there and run a better business. That's cool, right? Some want to move through to investor level. That's cool too. But things have to change to get there. To get there, you have to change what you're doing. If nothing changes, nothing changes. So, what will you be implementing to go through these levels, right? We call it the accountant's operating system. After 3 decades of working with firms all over the world, we have worked out what is the best practice way, the best way to run an accounting firm. An accounting business that we have an end-to-end solution that has 3 objectives, right? And you're going to hear from 5 firms about this today. Reducing personal time, increasing profitability, and building a more sustainable accounting business. A sustainable accounting business. If you're totally happy with where you're at today, then don't participate in the next 1 hour of this webinar. I'll just drive you crazy, right? But if you're wanting to change, then let's get some change happening. Let me give you 8 key areas of where you need to focus on for change, and then we're going to drill into just 2 of them. So, operations. Awesome time of year right now to tackle workflow, to look at the way that you do the work, the way that your team does the work during your most busiest time of the year coming up in the next couple of months or so. Cash flow. Folks at QuickFee help you with cash flow improvement. We get our firms to run a single-digit days accounts receivable. Technology, reporting systems, operations. And so I want you to write this down. When I get the slides, you might not get that sort of day to write down what you need to change in your firm, right? And of course, make those changes. Time, getting more time, being effective with your time. I'm going to show you today, because a big chunk of today is about time, how to delegate, right? Actually, how to delegate to other people and things so you get more time. How you use your time as a partner. Clients. Is it a client thing you need to change? The way we communicate with our clients, classify our clients, target market with that. By the way, we have coaching and documented process on all of these, right? Systems, tools, etc. But this is more higher level to get you thinking about what you need to be doing moving into your busy season. Team members, don't settle for mediocrity, team. Here's the test on team. The test, the litmus test is as follows. Would you enthusiastically rehire them? Oh, that's an interesting one. Would you enthusiastically rehire them? Only settle for the best people. There's so many people out there willing to be hired. Now, they might be gainfully employed right now, but they're out there to get. Structure, performance, culture, behavior. You set the rules. It's your business. Products. What are you actually selling here? What products? Documented. Is it scalable? Do we know what we're actually selling? We're not selling, by the way, old school accounting business, old school accounting practice, they sell time. You don't sell time. You sell what you know. You sell intellectual property disguised as products. What about growth? I get accounting firms. No, we don't do any marketing as if it's a badge of honor. Yeah, so what's your growth rate? Oh, 10%, they say. What, so you put your prices up a little bit and accepted a few referrals, pretty much. Well, you're missing out on the big opportunities here. What's your revenue growth model? What's your marketing plan? What's your sales plan, your pricing plan? The vast majority, like 99.9%, undercharge for what you currently do. You want to make some money? Just put your prices up straight away, right? Put them up. Where else are the clients going to go? You know, as one of my firms, great firm, TGC, up in Toronto, Melissa said to me one day, price increases is not about us price gouging our clients. It's about them not price gouging us. Think of that, folks. Think of that team. Pricing. We're talking about pricing today. We're talking about average hourly rate as the outcome of that. Leadership. Is it a leadership thing that you've got that needs to improve? You have a one-page operational plan. You have a business plan. Is there alignment at the leadership level? What's the vision of this business? What's the strategy? And what I call lasercution. What's your model for execution of strategy with laser focus? And lastly, momentum. Getting momentum. Team engagement, meeting rhythms, solving issues, innovating and themes. Team. There's a lot to do. There's a lot to do, and it takes time. This is not a silver bullet. I want to give you some nuggets today for sure that you can implement, but as you look at that list of 8, it takes time. I want you to listen to our first case study, Shannon Badger. This is a 5-year journey. When I met Shannon and her husband, Jonathan, they were about $1 million. Now they're 7. They're in San Antonio, Texas, right? They went from 43% partner time to 0 chargeable time, but they didn't do that in year 1. They went from 80 business clients to 140 business clients, average fee $50,000 per client. Listen to Shannon on what she did. You might learn something.
Hi, my name is Shannon Badger, and my husband and I own a CPA firm in Texas, and I just wanted to share a little bit about our experience with Rob Nixon's boardroom. My husband and I founded our firm in 2014, and we joined boardroom in the fall of 2018. So we were about 4 years in, and we were $1 million in revenue. We had 10 employees. We had a lot of partner billable time. And honestly, we were really struggling with owner alignment and burnout, and we weren't getting a lot of time with our kids. We had 4 children under the age of 5. And so it was just a really difficult season of life. And so we invested in the program, and we implemented for about 2 years in the program. And then we've continued to implement the principles we learned the last 3 years. And now our firm is about 7 million in revenue. We have 46 employees. We only have 140 clients, and our average client size is 50,000 per client. And we also have 0 partner charge time. So we get to come into client meetings when we want to, but we don't have any client deadlines or billable time allocated to us in the firm. And that's really been life-changing because we can focus on the firm initiatives and sales and the other places that our firm needs us, training, developing our team, stuff like that. So it's truly been a gift. I would encourage you to consider it. Sometimes you feel like you might know what you need to implement in your firm, but the reality is if you were going to do it on your own, you would have done it already. And so it's good to have a support group. It's good to have a coach. And I guarantee you the ROI really is there. And so if you're considering it, I would be happy to even be a reference or talk through our experience. But I highly recommend the program. I believe all CPA firms should be in it at some point because the tools really have been life-changing for us. Thank you.
So Shannon and her husband, Jonathan, implemented changes, right? They did different things. Might have started with pricing and workflow, but ultimately we were able to get them to structure the business differently so they could get themselves out of the day-to-day, right? That takes about 3 years. Don't kid yourself. It takes about 3 years. Got a question in the Q&A, which I want to move to the chat. So Ron, so team, I'll answer the question here, Ron, but I'll read it out because no one can see it. Can we put all questions in the chat, not the Q&A? But I'll answer here's Ron's, right? So Ron says, how many partners are now in the firm? Is it still just the 2 of them? Do they have any mergers, acquisitions, or other firms? Oh, good point. So yeah, I know the firm really well, Ron. Thank you. So first of all, still 2 partners, just Shannon and Jonathan, husband and wife team. So and no mergers, no acquisitions, right? All organic growth. So I want to take that a bit further on. Take it a bit further because there's a misconception in the accounting profession that we need more partners. We get to about $1.5 million, I need another partner, right? You don't need more partners. You need a better structure. You need a business manager to run the day-to-day. You'll need a fulfillment manager to run the workflow over time. You don't need more partners. And the other thing, Ron, when it comes to M&A, thank you for the question, or more so the observation, for M&A, mergers and acquisitions, if you're going to be a GP accounting firm as an accept all clients, right, then M&A makes sense. However, at the same time, paying $1 for $1 revenue is expensive marketing. It's very expensive marketing. Sometimes a better option, I'm not against M&A, by the way, sometimes a better option is to put a marketing function in place. And with that marketing function, you accept the clients, a bit like the litmus test of would you enthusiastically rehire your team? The test is also, would you enthusiastically bring on every single client you've got? Marketing and interviewing clients and saying no to clients is a cheaper way than M&A. Thank you, Ron. Keep the questions going, but if I can ask for the questions to put them into the chat so everyone can see them. Thank you. All righty, let's keep rolling on. So here's the model, team. Here's the model of $1 million profit per partner. I'm going to dig into some numbers here. And so you can see what the model looks like, and then we're going to focus on one of these numbers only. So we've got one partner. If you've got three partners, multiply all these numbers by 3. We've got 6 accountants, 3 admin and marketing. We typically get our firms to get up to 40% of their team in non-chargeable roles, and you'll see why, right? It's a complete mindset shift. Say 200 client groups. Shannon had 140. Average project value being the invoice value $3,250. 4 projects per year. So average fee per client, 13 grand, right? So here we've got a 9-10 person business doing $2.6 million in revenue. Now you might have other clients in there as well. You might have some individuals, but I'm talking about 200 client groups. Now we like to get salaries at around the 25% mark. So excluding partners, so keeping salaries, getting more money, getting more revenue out of the salaries you've got, not more time, more revenue, right? Different things. Overheads about 14%. So profitability around the 60% mark, 55, 60, 50 to 60, somewhere in that bracket, ebbs and flows a little bit. And then tax, of course, about 35, and $1 million profit after tax per partner. Right, so that's roughly the model we get you to move towards over time. You can have big clients, like 50 grand clients, like what Shannon's got, or you can have smaller clients that spend $1,000 a month. When it comes to some of the internal KPIs, productivity utilization, no more than 500 hours for partners, no more than 500 hours, right? Accountants, no more than 1,300 hours for the year, no more. We are not going to be in the labor for hire business model. We're not going to do that, right? When in fact, we're going to get efficient with our time and drive time down, have a fixed price. I'm going to show you a model on that right now. And the number that pops is average hourly rate here at 313. Average hourly rate for all hours all worked is 130. And these two numbers at the bottom, team, are the key to your profitability. They're the keys to your profitability. The magic number in this model is average hourly rate. This is the magic number. Most people don't get it. I hope that you do. What you got here, Ron? Oh, good, Ron. I'm glad you're objecting. So Ron says, no way to work on high quality clients with 25% salary, cost in today's low unemployment economy. I think 35% is more reasonable. Everything else I agree with. But Ron, what if they weren't in the United States? What if they're somewhere else? Average hourly rate. Average hourly rate equals revenue billed over client hours. Or think of it this way, Ron, right? Because I'm going to push back on this one. If they were all in the United States, I'm assuming from the US, what if the margin you received from them, as in the revenue per person, was much higher than the current model? The current model, team, is typically salary divided by hours worked multiplied by a factor of 3 or 4 equals charge rate times hours equals revenue. You know that because you operate it. What if it was done differently? What if you pegged revenue per account at $500,000? Well, how do you do that? Not based on time. if you're working on BBBK, you can use offshore low price. I'm not too sure what BKKPG is. Is that backpackers? No, I'm not too sure. Cannot be done at those rates. We're not talking about charge rates here, Ron. We're not talking about charge rates. This is going to be fun, right? Average hourly rate. Bookkeeping. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Average hourly rate is an outcome number. Average hourly rate is the key to your profitability. Let's say you're a $2 million firm right now. Let's say you've got 10,000 hours a year going out the door. By the way, team, with all of this, bit like you with your clients, right? You've got a lot of experience with your clients. You've got a lot of experience with your clients, team. And you would probably say to them or think, you should trust me now and believe me later. I'm going to say the same to you. You should trust me now and believe me later. Buckle up. It's going to be fun. Average hourly rate, revenue billed over client hours. If you've got a $2 million business and 10,000 client delivery hours, then you've got $200 average hourly rate. Every 10 bucks in rate, a margin in average hourly rate, not average charge rate, nothing to do with charge rates. In fact, we get rid of charge rates, go to $1 an hour, keep timesheets. Every $10 is 100 grand. What if it was $100? That's $1 million. How do we move that needle? We move it profit per client. What is the profit per client model? Here is the old way of doing it with a charge rate mentality. The job took 28 hours to complete. The average rate applied by the people touching it was $175. Therefore, the job came out at the end at $4,900 priced in arrears. Time-based billing in arrears will keep you in the poorhouse. Time-based billing in arrears. You'll have a nice lifestyle, but it won't create wealth. What we're going to do here is flip this around, and we're going to repackage the $4,900 to say $6,125, $510 a month. We're going to repackage it onto a monthly fixed fee, the known work for the known entities, all communication, emails, meetings, and tax planning. And we're going to add a bit as well. Now we've got a fixed fee at $510 a month. Now we're directly incentivized to drive the time down. We drive the time down, we price it a bit higher, and we get a lot of capacity, and the revenue per person goes up, and we get our 25% cost of labor. So now we focus on driving the time down, and we get it down to 20 hours. We have a whole efficiency model on doing this, right? And it's got nothing to do with switching software. Now the margin here is 306. Price increase and a repackage, time decrease, average hourly rate pops out the end at 306. Had nothing to do with the charge rate. Had nothing to do with the cost of the person. It had everything to do with the way we did differently. Now, what do? We go back to the client and we sell them something new, some project, or maybe we add some value. And, you know, it's still going to be a small client, but if we sell something at $7,500, for example, and we use we didn't price that based on any charge rate mentality, we did on value-based fees. And now we use those 8 hours to complete that task. And the outcome on this one is $937. We now have a total fee of $13,625, same 28 hours, and the margin on this client's $486. We move our firms towards $500 average hourly rate for the entire business over time. And it starts with doing exactly this. Price it higher, repackage it, time reduction, sell something different at a different margin, and up it pops. Pop, 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 pop. How much profit did we make from this client? Additional profit. We made an extra $87.25. $87.25. You can make as much as you want, team, but you've got to change the way you do it. Here's Clinton Fonseca. These numbers here, I want to show you this, are January to April. They're in Savannah, Georgia, right? So January to April last year, his busy time. They got 40 new leads, had 78 sales meetings in that period of time, 67% profitability. Typically, Clinton's business, three-partner firm, runs at about 55 to 58% profitability. So their cost of labor is about 25 or so. Profit time index, I'll talk about later on. And as you can see, average hourly rate there, it's 328. In this period of time, they made $1.1 million before partner salaries, and the partners worked about 50 hours per month. We're talking about time and money today, team. 3-partner firm, the partners worked 50 hours per month in that period. Let's hear from Clinton and see what it, so AHR here is one of the keys, right? Absolutely one of the keys. And there's the margin there. So here's Clinton.
Yeah, my name's Clinton Fonseca. I'm the managing partner of Sadowski and Company. We're a 3-partner firm with right now 15 people. And we've been with Rob Nixon and Wendy Miller since June of 2019. And when we started with the group, we were around $2 million in revenue and had 18 people. And what was interesting was right off the bat, Rob did a capacity study on our firm and told us we had, capacity to do about $4 million of revenue. And we kind of were going like, no, we don't think this is so. But, we said, okay, well, we're going to close the year this year at $4 million with 15 people. And we were doing $2 million and 18 people when we first got into the group. And the number one goal we had when we got in, the number one goal was we wanted to get back our life in the form of the time, effort, and energy that we spent in the firm. And that meant late nights, weekends, and that sort of thing. We wanted it for the whole team and for maintaining and retaining and keeping staff and team members, and that was one of our main goals. And then secondly, really was profitability. And we've kind of moved now because we kind of figured out the first part. And so we're moving into the second phase and have been in that second phase of just improving profitability. Where the other thing that's been real important to us is the other firms in the group and the openness with the way the meetings are conducted and the way we share information. We've kind of found out that a lot of us have a lot of similar problems, but it's really good because people are at different phases of implementing different programs into their firm for improvement introduced by performance partners. So been extraordinarily happy and look forward to a long and continued relationship with profitable partners.
So Clinton at the outset, 18 people, 2 mil, 18 people included the 3 partners. He talked about a capacity plan. And I did a capacity plan. Yes, Ron, I live in Australia, but work in America. Thank you for the private message there. And so the capacity plan, I showed him that with your 18 people, you could do 4 million. Now, when we did that, by the way, that video was recorded in November, right, 2 months ago. That was recorded in November, just gone. And so consequently, now, 4.5 years later, we've got 15 people and $4 million in revenue. And the key is the bottom left-hand numbers, average hourly rate. Let me show you the effect of average hourly rate on profit, right? There's a table to think about, right? So here we go. Let's say your profit per partner before partner salaries is 40%. And focused on 3 areas, you drive average hourly rate by 60%. Those 3 areas are going to be price, process, and product. You will achieve 150% increase in profitability, provided you've got the same delivery hours, team salaries, and overheads. Not a huge lift in AHR, massive lift in profitability. The reverse is true as well. If you are able to maintain your 40% and lift AHR by 60%, you could afford to lose 38% of your revenue and still make the same money, which means you could afford to drop some clients, which means you could have choice on who else comes in. You can use this as capacity planning. So let's say you've got a $5 million target, for argument's sake, right? And you said, my target's $250 average hourly rate. Well, you need 20,000 human delivery hours. 20,000 human delivery hours. But if you targeted using the same idea for 5 million, $500 average hourly rate, not $500 charge rate, $500 average hourly rate, we only need 10,000 hours. This is a number that we drive. We measure average hourly rate by period, quarterly, monthly, weekly, by product, by invoice or fixed price per product, by person, and by client. You want to do a really cool exercise? You should do this right now, by the way, start of the year when you're about to reprice. All clients into a spreadsheet. Column A, client name. Column B is the revenue that you get from that client. Column C is the hours taken to get that revenue. Column D, B into C, equals average hourly rate. If you're at 150 right now, that's the average of the whole client base. Some below, many below, half above, half below. You'll find that many of your larger revenue clients have a lower average hourly rate, a lower margin. Your average hourly rate should be increasing monthly, every single month. At $10 a month, you've got a net increase of $60 for the end of the year. If you're at $150 right now at the start of the year and you focus on moving this number $10 a month, then at the end of the year, you're at $210. Open up next year at $210. Same thing again. Open up the next year at $270. Same thing again. Open up the next year at $330. And over a period of time, you get to $500. Up it goes. By price, by process, by product. Not all products are the same margin. Process is internal efficiencies. Price is top line price. Numbers, numbers, numbers. You want to drive profitability? Focus on that one there. Let's talk about another number that I invented called Profit Time Index. I was fortunate the first 6 years of my career, and Ron, I'm going to talk about this because Ron's asked me privately. Ron's the contributor here. Good, Ron. My first 6 years of my life was working for a company called Results Accountants. My accounting life, right? Was working for a company called Results Accountant Systems, traveling the world, working with accounting firms all over the world in my 20s. Now 54, 55 this year. And then took those ideas and then did a whole lot of other ideas and other companies to take this to a whole new level, a whole new level. And this is one of these levels, right? This is called Profit Time Index. What is it? Well, this number is an output number of everything that you do. And this is a management number for partner time. Here is the equation on the number. You take the profit before partner salary, so you can do it for last year, divided by all the hours you worked in this business, working in time. Michael Gerber coined the phrase work on the business, not in the business. In 1986, the E-Myth came out. Spend more time working on the business than in the business. In the business on the tools, doing client work, charged or not charged, admin, management, etc. On the business is business development, growing the business, things that get leveraged. How much in time did you spend? How much on time did you spend? Divide that into profit, you get a number. Do it for all partners. And you get a range. You get a range of numbers and progress. If you're 0 to 250, you should work this number out. 0 to 250, you're basically overworked, underpaid. If you're 250 to 500, you start to make a little bit of money, but still working too much. If you're 500 to 1,000, you might be making some money, but what about the time? You get up in these 4 and 5 brackets here. Awesome. We've got some leverages kicked in. But now there's a problem. You're making good money. Typically, when you're 1,000 to 2,000 average, profit time index, typically you're making about $1 million a year. And sometimes you take the foot off the gas. Sometimes you do that. But let's not do that. Let's go fast. Let's go harder. Let's not get comfortable, right? How do we double it from here without doubling the time? Becomes a personal challenge. Keep pushing it. Create a corporate model out of it. You know the best result I've ever seen? The best result I've seen on this number is a sole practitioner here in my hometown in Brisbane, Australia. Ray Taggart does about actually they told me that day 3.5 this year. $3.5 million in revenue as a solo with 12 people. So he's got 300,000 a person thereabouts. Ray has structured himself out of the business. He's got a 60% profit, about $1.9 million. I've known him for years, right? I coached him for 4 years first and then went in on his own after that. He spends an hour a month, so an hour a week in the business, an hour a week at the management meeting. That's it. He doesn't work in this business. Work out that math. 50 into 1.8, 50 hours for the year. You've got a decent number. Very decent number. Here's Jason Parr from Parmulas. So this is January to April again. Jason will tell part of the story, but I want to hammer home the numbers here. So in this period here, they did 1.8 million profit, a two-partner firm, by the way, for the January to April period. You're coming into that period, so I wanted to show you some of these numbers. And they worked average 86 hours per month. 86 hours per month in the business. And as you can see, the bottom right-hand number, the profit time index is 2670 in the busiest time of the year, right? And so the key here to the profitability was $313 average hourly rate, and they're punching 54% profit. But the number down the bottom here of profit time index, and it's still got a ways to go, it's getting higher and higher and higher every time we see it. We've been working with these guys for 5.5 years now. 5.5 years. Listen to Jason and what he did.
Hi, my name's Jason Parr. I'm with Parr, Mellis and Associates. We have been with Wendy and Rob Nixon and Profitable Partners since middle of 2018. The first year we grossed about 3.6 million with about 750,000 net to each partner, 2 partners total. And now, 5 years into it, after following all of their recommendations and implementing all of the processes and the marketing and scaling everything, we will do about 8.5 million this year, and with about 2 million net to each of the 2 partners. I can't recommend their services enough. It's been, a godsend for us, and obviously the proof is in the numbers. So if you have any reservations about joining Profitable Partners, don't have them, just go ahead and do it. Thank you.
Very straightforward business. Interesting enough, Parmulas, you can look them up. They're in Maryland. Parmulas, the average fee per client is about $12,000. They have not focused on big advisory clients, about $1,000 a month per client, recurring revenue model. They have 36 team members for their $8.5 million in revenue. Let's keep it rolling to prove to you that this can be done. So you're about to meet Kevin Bassett. This is a May to August result. So Kevin's a solo. Some of you are multi-partner firms, some of you are sole practitioners. So 601,000 profit in that period, and in 63 hours a month working in the business, right? So still working in it for sure, still doing what the business does, but not working 200 hours a month, right, at all. We are now 5 years working with Kevin, and you can see here, average hourly rate at 283, and profitability, it normally is about the 45 to 50% mark. But profit time index at $2,400. Now, Kevin has got some nuggets, right? Absolute nuggets in here. Listen to Kevin.
Hi, my name's Kevin Bassett. I'm the owner of Bassett & Associates, a CPA firm in North Carolina, and I'm here today to talk to you about Profitable Partners and Rob Nixon's program for accounting firms. Now, I've been in this program for about 5 years, and I'm doing this video today because I've gotten phenomenal results from the program, and my wife and I are eternally grateful. I'm in no way compensated for this. I simply want to get the word out to my fellow accountants. Now, Rob's brand promise is $1 million of profit per partner while working only 500 charge hours in your accounting business. And I can attest that this program actually works. I've blown past the $1 million since the second year in the program and continue to climb. And my hours are a little bit above 500 hours. But they're come way, way down. I live at the beach over half of the year, and I don't prepare a single tax return anymore. In fact, I can't prepare a tax return because I don't even have a login to the tax software, so I don't even do my own tax return anymore. So Rob's program clearly works. Now, I love the accounting profession because we provide an absolute ton of value to our clients. However, as a profession, we are notoriously underpaid for that value that we do provide. So in my opinion, we should all be working and making north of $1 million if we're any good. Now, why did I join? Okay, a little bit about my firm. So at the time, we were a little bit above $2 million in revenue, and net profit was a little bit below $700,000. And it actually declined a little bit from the year before. So we were sliding slowly in the wrong direction, which isn't good. Now I'm going to show you a picture. And what this picture is, this is October 15th, a tax deadline. And it was just before I joined the program. This is why we joined the program. So there's two huge problems with this picture that I'm sure you can see. All right, number one, as a firm, we have had a policy of not filing a single tax return on the tax deadline to avoid rush jobs where mistakes happen. But as you can see here, we had a bunch of rush jobs and filed a whole bunch of returns on that day. Now, the second very obvious problem with this picture is we were supposed to be paperless, as most firms are. And we had been until right here at this deadline. And what happened is we got super busy and stressed and had a whole bunch of rush jobs. We completely abandoned our processes and went to the old way of doing things. And as a result, I had dozens of paper files to review that day. Not good. So we obviously had a giant workflow problem that needed to be fixed. So I was practically throwing my credit card at Rob when I joined days later. But now, I've seen many other firms join for many other reasons and still get huge benefits. So trust me, whatever your issues are, since Rob's an expert and thought leader in our profession, he's seen them before and he can help. Now, on that note, I do recommend that as you join this program, you identify your top issue or top 3 issues of why you're joining. And if you have partners, I recommend you get buy-in amongst the partners and agreement on what those issues are. Next, a very important thing is figure out how much it's costing you while you wait and fail to fix those issues. Now, regardless of the reason you join, also keep an open mind, because as you join the program, you're also going to fix a whole bunch of other issues that probably aren't even on your radar. And I know for us, we certainly did, as did other firms in my peer group. All right. In summary, the accounting profession is amazing, and owning an accounting firm can also be amazing if you run it well. Now, the good news is Rob's program is a roadmap to do just that. You simply have to commit. And I speak not only for myself, but other firms I've met in my group that have gotten absolutely transformational results. Anyway, thanks for watching the video, and I hope to see you in the boardroom.
So Kevin, interesting, had a workflow problem. You might have other issues going on. Kevin was about 2 million with 750 thereabouts when we started. He's now 4 million with 20 people and about 2 million in profitability. And as Kevin said to me one day, he said, this is about creating generational wealth. This is about changing what I do, create generational wealth. He's in Raleigh, North Carolina, still a solo, won't take on other partners at all. So team, driving profitability through average hourly rate, through being more efficient, and you spending more time working on it, not in it. What about the time, right? What about the time? Whoops, Kevin again. What about creating time? How are we going to create time? Well, we can't create more time as far as more hours in the day. We've all got the same 24/7. We've all got the same 168. We've all got the same 86,400, but we can get better with that time, right? We can get much, much better with your time. Now, remember at the start, I said, as we go through this journey, there are 3 levels: practice owner to business owner, from business owner to potentially investor level, where you're an owner but not an operator, right? So if you're going to go through these levels, then we have to create time for you as the owner. And I've seen this happen very, very quickly, as in 2 to 3 years. What all these stories are is about systematic change and getting instant results. But to get to this top level or investor level, it takes time. You've got to get yourself out of every single job that you currently do. And the best example I've got on one firm I've recently coached is this lady here called Mackie McNeil. From $1 million and busy to 3 years later, not busy, no time, right? It's not a big business. $2.5 million at the moment. Still a small business. On track for 3.5 for sure. But Mackie, as the sole owner, has zero chargeable time. Zero time for Mackie. And you don't have to think about, I need a $10 million business to do this. She's done it on a $2.5 million business.
Hi, I'm Mackie McNeil from Mackie. When we joined the boardroom, we were a tad under $1 million and frustrated by our lack of scale for our cutting-edge, unique CFO services. We were coached by Rob for 3 years before we went it alone. Today, we're at 2.5 million, and we have the strongest pipeline I've ever seen moving into 2024. So I fully expect we'll close that year at 3.5, or we may even double. I'm not sure. We'll see. When I began coaching with Rob, I did little direct client work, but I was more engaged than I cared to be in managing my team. Today, I do no client work at all. My firm is completely managed by the management team, and all prospects are closed and vetted by that team. I spend my time on the platform as a sought-after speaker and trainer, or at my farm with my grandchildren, just playing and having fun. When I started with Rob, I thought my big takeaway would be new sales. And during our 3 years, we had some revenue growth, but nothing startling. But what was transformational and life-changing for me was that as I took my team to Rob's meetings and they saw what I was trying to get them to do, which was to step up and be a fully functioning team. Since I've now moved away, my only interaction is with a weekly check-in with our COO. Our pipeline has been growing dramatically and our revenue per client has quadrupled. I highly recommend you consider Rob's services if you want to have more time, more money, and more freedom.
So Mackie's from Louisville, Kentucky. Small firm, no time, sits on a management meeting once a week. Team, to do this, you must first of all have a complete mindset shift about your time. Here's some thoughts on mindset shift. Number one, we've all got the same 86,400 seconds per day. The biggest excuse I hear is I don't have time. It's not an excuse. You've got the time. It just wasn't a priority. Everyone's got the same amount of time. Time allocation is a priority, not a resource. Where you spend your time, where your team spends your time is a priority, not a resource. You can be more efficient than you are. You can be so much more efficient than you are. You have to believe that someone else is always better at it than you. You can, team, here's a mindset shift for you. The only work that you should do is the work that only you can do. The only work that you should do is the work that only you can do. Ron, I'll come back to your question in a moment. We do not need to learn new how-tos, a mindset shift. We've got enough how-tos on technology right now, or tax how-tos, whatever. You might learn some how-tos on how to run your business. There's always someone to hire. It's a mindset shift. There's always someone there. Mindset shift. When we let go, we progress. And here's a good one for you when it comes to client work. Tell them what they need to know, not everything that you know. Tell them what they need to know, not everything that you know. So Ron's asked a question. You mentioned all partners are zero chargeable time. What are they working on in total, as in non-charge hours generally? So if you, and it's a choice, right? You decide how much work you want to do. And then we need leverage and people around us to do the other things. You still own the business. So you may choose to not be 100% non-chargeable. You may choose to be 100% non-chargeable to clients. You've still got a business to run until you replace yourself with that as well. You might be in a marketing function. I mentioned you saw Jason Parr from Parr Millis before. His partner Hunt is the marketing, he's the sales guy for the firm. They have a marketing manager, but Hunt is engaged in sales. He runs a podcast. He has sales meetings. He likes sales. Got another firm at zero chargeable, John from Paragon, John Drawdy, and John has a salesperson doing sales. You saw Mackie just then. Mackie is involved in a management meeting. It's with his COO once a week and a checkup, but the team do all the marketing, all the sales. If you go with the context, the only work that you do is the work that only you can do. It's a complete change, which means we can hire in other people to do that work that you're currently doing. And you're left with whatever you want to be left with. You might want to be like Hunt from Parmillis, loves the sales piece, right? He loves it. Jason does nothing, by the way. He just mucks around. He loves his cars. You might want to spend some time with clients and do 100, 200 hours a year. You might like running the business. You might hire in a business manager to do that. You decide. It's your business, no one else's. So here's 12 points to free up time to be more efficient. Number one, have a healthy discontent for the present. Big goals, right? Stop telephone tag or Zoom tag. Only do appointment-based meetings, phone and Zoom meetings. Don't call you, call back. It's just a waste of time, right? Always focus on your top three. What are the 3 highest dollar productive activities? The 3 highest dollar productive activities, spend 80% of your time doing that. Delegate, delegate, delegate. If someone comes into you with a piece of paper, they go back with 2. If someone comes into you with 1 question, they go back with 2 questions back to them. Get organized, manage your calendar. It's your calendar. Don't let other people run your life for you as far as on their agenda, turning up to meetings that weren't scheduled. Block out time. Sacrosanct, working on time. I'm a golf nut. I don't work on Wednesdays. I play golf on Wednesdays. Today it's Thursday for me, just so you know. Self-imposed deadlines on every task. Self-imposed deadlines. By the way, I practice what I preach. I've got my work down to 8 to 10 hours per week as far as working in the business. That is total, by the way. Hire a virtual assistant, project people, Todd people. I'll talk about Todd in a minute, right? Always think who, not how. Don't think, how do I do this? Think, who can I get to do this? Don't think, how do I learn this new task? Who can I get who knows how to do that task already? Who, not how. Stop over-engineering. Now, Kevin Bassett was a classic. When I met Kevin, he had about 500,000 of his revenue, of his 2 mil, was in a CFO service. And the CFO service was yielding about $500 per hour on a fixed fee. And I gave him a challenge over 3 months and said, Kevin, over the next 3 months, I want you to take out things that aren't necessary, but you still get the same client result. So him and his business manager, Keith, went ahead and did that, took out things that weren't needed because it was over-engineered, comes back 3 months later, it's now at $1,000 a month, same price. We halved the labor input. We took out things that weren't needed. Stop over-engineering. Get your team involved. That's what Mackie was talking about. She couldn't do that on her own. She got her team to be engaged with us as well, and the team started firing. Split the projects up. Don't reinvent. R&D instead. Rip off and duplicate. There's someone out there in my community who's done what you want to do, in my community, right? Don't reinvent. R&D instead. We talk about delegate. Well, there's 11 points, not 12, right? A number, we go for success here, not perfection. Delegate, delegate, delegate. How do we delegate, right? I'm going to give you 8 areas that you can delegate to. 8 areas you can delegate to. The task. Well, first of all, you could delegate to technology. You could delegate to ChatGPT. ChatGPT is awesome for research. It's awesome for writing. It's awesome for you prompt it. It'll write something for you. Client letters, anything at all. You can delegate to automation. Automation in your marketing, automation in your workflow. The technology can do the tasks the human used to do. You can delegate to things like MeetGeek, Fireflies, or Otter, which will record and summarize meetings for you. Why get someone to do that? Why have a note taker? You don't need that. Or other apps, you can delegate to technology. You could delegate to clients, so have them take their own meeting notes. You could get them to record their own meetings, get them to keep their own files. You could train them so that they're doing more of the work. Delegate to clients. You can delegate to prospects. So not spending huge amounts of time on research. They could fill in a diagnostic, so before you interview them, you know lots about them at a glance. You can use Calendly questions. We use Calendly as an example. There's lots of them around. Scheduling tools to get them to fill in questions before, so you're more prepared. Delegate to clients. You could delegate to existing team. Really cool delegation technique is someone comes to you with a question, you push it back to them and say, well, how would you do that? And they probably have the answer. After a while, they stop asking you because they've worked it out. You could apply what's called deep end strategy. You throw them in the deep end. They're adults. They work it out. You could delegate to team members where you say, you need to come with me with solutions as well as questions. Don't come to me with a question, come to me with a solution and the question. You could delegate to, number 5 here, an assistant. If you don't have an assistant, then you are one. Are you an assistant? Are you doing assistant tasks? Do you need a part-time assistant, a virtual assistant, an in-person assistant? There's assistants out there, people who do administrative tasks. You do a lot of admin in your life. Delegate that out. You can delegate to a better process. As an example with Kevin, under-engineer it, same quality control, same result for client. Better process and workflow. Better system documentation. There's many ways you can delegate to. Todd, team on demand. So team on demand is where you've got contractors around the world who are doing projects for you. That could be through Upwork or Freelancer, Get Magic, Expert 360. Quintessentially, I have a lifestyle concierge service called Quintessentially. Quintessentially manage my major lifestyle things. One of my goals is to play the top 100 golf courses in the world. Only 61 people have done it. I'm about halfway right now. Quintessentially help me do that. They've got lifestyle agents all over the world. Quintessentially are currently organizing a trip for 6 of us, a boys trip, to Dubai and Abu Dhabi. It's admin. It's life admin. Who can you delegate to? Other contractors. You could, of course, delegate to new hires. These new hires, where are they? Are they onshore? Are they offshore? Are they local? Are they interstate? There's many areas that we can delegate to. You have to be brutal about your time team. Think of the 3 highest dollar productive activities that you should be doing. And here they are. Number 1, high-end client work that no one else can do. High-end client work that no one else can do. Sales activity, bringing in new revenue, and leadership. Developing your team, growing your team, leading your team, inspiring your team. Spend 80% of your time doing that, and on number 1, around 20 to 30% of your time on the first one, and you'll build a better business for sure. Time. We've only got the same amount of time, but how are we using it? Team, as we look at all of this, we have to ask a question. What is holding you back? You want more money, you want more time. Otherwise, you wouldn't be on this webinar. QuickFee invited you. I'm presenting to you. There's many other issues. As Kevin said, he started with workflow and fixed a bunch of others. Is it pricing and packaging that's holding you back? Is it your communication program to your clients that's holding you back? Is it your workflow efficiency model that's holding you back? Is it your time utilization model that's holding you back? For growth, is it that you don't have a big database to market to? Is it that your marketing and sales doesn't work so well? You don't have a function for that. Is it your product mix? Is it your people? Whatever it is, there are things within your business that are holding you back. But here's the biggest thing that holds you back on achieving what you should be achieving, team. And that is, it's relatively comfortable doing what you're doing today. The accounting profession, last year we did a benchmark report. Coming up this year, you'll all be invited to participate. Last year, the average profit per partner was $420,000. Now, of course, that's profit before tax, profit before working capital, etc. So you're left with $250,000. to spend, thereabouts, right? Awesome. It's a reasonable lifestyle, but it's hard to create wealth out of that anytime soon. But it's comfortable. If you want to knock this out of the park, if you want to really excel with this accounting business, you've got to get out of the comfort zone. Here's what Bob Riggs has to say about the comfort zone. Ron, I'll come back to your questions pretty soon, right, on people. Here's what Bob has to say about the comfort zone. First of all, many of us have established a comfort zone in our lives. Getting by, path of least resistance, it's all good. Common, understandable attitude, worked hard to get where we are, may seem like a good place to be. The problem with this is that once we stop reaching, stretching, seeking, and risking, we stop growing. And that might be okay, but you're settling for what you are today. This may be fine today, but you are now all you're ever going to be without continued growth. And if you're in this comfort zone, beware. The danger of a comfort zone is that it doesn't hurt. It might even feel good. It might feel good. Team, if you want to progress through these levels to whatever your desired outcome is, right? To whatever business model you want and need to achieve your bucket list, your list of achievements in your lifetime before you kick it, then we have to transform. We have to transform what we're doing. Transform your profit. Transform your cash flow. Transform your revenue model. Transform your team, your clients. Of course, the outcome of this is your lifestyle, your wealth, and yourself. You want to transform, you need three major factors. You need accountability, you need to learn some new things, and you need a community of people that you can share with. What happens, team, today is content, right? And you get a bit of a burst, a bit of enthusiasm, and boom, it peters out. It peters out. If you want to transform, you need additional help to keep it going, right? You need coaching, you need tools, you need implementation support. From this webinar or from any content we provide, you can go to robnixon.com, go to free stuff. There's lots of free stuff. You can go in our benchmark report in a month or so, and you'll get lots of free stuff, right? You'll get content up the wazoo. You can read my 4 books, you'll get content up the wazoo. But what happens is, if it's just content, you'll end up doing nothing, or maybe a little on your own, You know, Shannon said, if you knew what to do, you would have already done it, right? Why haven't you done it? If you want to transform, you need some additional help. You need some additional help. We'd like to help you. As I mentioned at the start, our unhindered agenda, we've got capacity to help 8 right now. We're very selective. We work with firms minimum $1 million in revenue, maximum 5 partners, 6 sometimes to push. If you're more than $1 million in revenue for 2023, 1 to 5 aligned partners, ambitious and coachable, I'll come back to questions in a moment, then let's meet and see if we can help. We say no to a lot. We only work with a small few. I'll put the meeting details. You can jump on the QR code there. Boom. Thank you very much. So that's the Calendly link right there. And we'd like to help if you're there to be helped. Let's answer some questions. Ron sent me a private one. Golf handicap is 9, Ron. Coming down to 6 this year. I got down to 7 last year, then popped back up to 9. Thank you. All right. So most firms are hammered by lack of people. Start pumping questions in, by the way. We're going to have some Q&A. Should we book a time with Wendy or Rob? With Wendy initially, David, because she is our implementation specialist. She's doing an assessment on where you're at right now to see if we can help. So click on Wendy's link right there, and then that'll go through to her calendar, and she can have a chat with you all about implementations. Ron says, lack of quality people to hire. We can raise rates and improve efficiency, but both of these are limited. How to deal with staff shortage in the profession worldwide? Interesting, Ron, right? Interesting. People, there's loads of people out there to hire. There's no shortage of people at all, right? At all. The United States employs close to 1 million people in the accounting profession. The key is, why would they work for you? They're already gainfully employed. 100%, there's a limited amount of people on the market without a job, right? Without a doubt. But there's tons of people there to be hired. There's tons of people there to be hired. You need to put up a value proposition. We just hired a marketing manager, right? Full-time digital marketing manager. And through a whole process, and the first part of it, we hired a recruiter, like a headhunter. Every single marketing manager, except I'd say every single, the vast majority that she spoke to were already hired. They wrote a 9-page prospectus on why that candidate should work for us. The reasons why. To sell to the candidate who was already employed or had options as to why. There's tons of people out there. They just don't work for you. Why should I work for you? What's your 9-page prospectus on working for you? Give me some reasons why I should switch. I've already got a job right now. Team, hope you enjoyed that. By all means, jump on Wendy's calendar for sure. Thank you, QuickFee, for putting this on. Well, that small group of a dozen of you. Hopefully you got some value out of that. Hopefully we work with a couple of you, maybe not. Looking forward to seeing some results from you, maybe. Hope you have an awesome start to the 2024 year and your tax season as well. Goodbye. Good morning from me. All the best. See you later.